Well, this Friday kicks off Week 7 of the high school football season. It's still unbelievable to me. It seems like we just started Week 1 yesterday, but a lot of big matchups in Week 1. Typically, to start off, let's start off in the SAC. 5-1 Snyder at 4-2 Harding. Anytime these two teams clash, it's always a good game. Well, you don't want to get there late because these two teams are going to run the ball and the clock's going to be ticking, and this game's not going to take long to play. Two ranked teams. Snyder's ranked number 8 in 5A and Harding's number 9 in 3A, but they both rely on their running game. Snyder ran for 399 yards last week against North. I guess they couldn't get one more yard to make it even 400. But and obviously Harding has that kid named Rod Smith that's not too bad. So they'll run the ball as well. It should be a pretty good matchup, but I do look for Snyder to be able to pull it out. They're a little bit more balanced with their passing attack, and their defense is a little bit stronger. So I would think that Snyder will be able to pull this one out, but you never know. Yeah, kind of like we were talking with last week's games, is kind of a trend here. Snyder's won 5 straight. They've only lost once to Harding in the last 15 seasons, so it's going to take a lot for Harding to get a win on Friday. Well, it is, but Snyder had also dominated Southside up until this year, and Southside was able to go to Snyder and, well, actually Northrop, because they play their games at Northrop, but you get the point, and able to get the win. So, you know, you got to show up and play the game, and this is no gimme for Snyder at all. So Harding very easily could pull off the upset. Is that the downfall for Harding, that they don't have that passing game that they can rely on? Well, Zach Haydock's not too bad. He can pass some. It's not like some programs that just run the ball and that's all they do. But I think Tyler Bobila of Snyder's a little bit more balanced with his passing, and so that'll be the key. But Zach Haydock's not too bad. But he's a young kid, so he's going to get better as his career progresses. Well, and if Rod Smith gets any sort of running room, look out. Could be a barn burner. That's our game of the week, so we'll have full coverage of that one coming up in the Highlight Zone on Friday. Another big game in the SAC, 5-1 Southside at 4-2 Wayne, and these two teams are surprising, and they're very good too. Oh, they absolutely are. This is going to be an entertaining game because the speed on both sides is phenomenal. Now, Greg Johnson, Southside's quarterback, who's been awesome all year, has battled a groin injury the last couple weeks and hasn't played. So it'll be interesting to see if he played. But they've played Northrop and Elmhurst the last 2 weeks, so they've kind of been resting them against those teams to save them for the big games as they finish out the stretch. So if Greg Johnson can play for Southside and he goes against Jordan Patterson, Wayne's quarterback, two very athletic quarterbacks that can explode for 90 yards in a heartbeat. So it'll be a great game to watch. But Wayne, they've really had a kind of a dream season. They're 4-2. They're very close to being 5-1. Their only decisive loss was against Dwenger last week. But they played the Saints tougher than most people do. So the Wayne program is a very good program. Coach Getz has them rocking and rolling down on the south side. So this will be a nice south side rivalry. Yeah, even though the Generals are coming off a loss, I mean, they did hold Dwenger only 31 points. They only lost by 10. They had to gain maybe a little confidence from that. Oh, absolutely they did. And Dwenger will tell you that Wayne gave them all they wanted and then some. Jordan Patterson ran the ball well. And I'll tell you something that he did last week that he hadn't done up until this point is he showed he can pass. He threw the ball really well on the few times that he did throw it. He threw it well. So if they can incorporate that into their attack, that'll make it that much more difficult on the south side. Yeah, the Generals are off to their best start since 1999. That's when they started 5-2. Archers, their best start since 2005. That's the year they went to semi-state, so this could be like a make-or-break game for both teams. Oh, absolutely, and it'll give whoever wins the game momentum going into the final games of the season and then the tournament. It'll just build their confidence that much more. Well, the Generals snapped a 9-game losing streak 2 years ago to Southside, so maybe they can bring a little momentum into Friday night. Let's go to the NHC, and we call this one a big matchup in the NHC because Carroll likes to call themselves the Homestead of the North as the Chargers travel to undefeated Homestead. Can anybody compete with the Spartans right now?
Not this year. No, not this year. In fact, I would love to see Dwenger play Homestead. Unfortunately, we'll just have to do that maybe in an Xbox game or something like that. But no, Carroll has had a great season this year. I know that sounds funny to say because they're 2-4, but their 4 losses they've been very competitive in, and they've shown that they have the ability to put big numbers on the scoreboard. But they don't have enough weapons to take down Homestead. Homestead is in the midst of a phenomenal season. They've got who I think is the best quarterback in the area in Zach Terrell. Colin Harris, a phenomenal receiver, and they've got 3 running backs they can roll out there. So look for Homestead to win this game fairly easily, but Carroll will make a decent showing of it.
Anytime you get a team who refers to themselves as the opponents of the North, there's going to be a little bit of a rivalry there. But Homestead's a dangerous team, too, right now, because with Chad Zolman out tending to his daughter, they're playing with a lot of emotion.
Oh, they are, and they used that emotion last week, but really they don't need any more emotion. They've got so much talent, it's incredible. Zach Terrell is only a sophomore, but he not only runs the ball, but he throws the ball exceptionally well. And I also cover Ball State, and I can tell you right now, Ball State's coaches are well aware of who Zach Terrell is.
Yeah, I'm sure more than just Ball State is putting Zach Terrell on their map right now. Well, and finally in the ACAC's teams, we were just talking about Adams Central and Southern Wells, and while Adams Central is struggling right now, Southern Wells, you don't just go to Carnes Field and pick up an easy win.
No, Mark Lefevre will have his team well prepared, and Adams Central is not going to be flying around as the Flying Jets moniker designates. But no, Southern Wells will run the ball really well against them. They're 4-2. Adams Central's only 2-4. And it'll be a very, very difficult chore for Adams Central to go over there and get a win because I know what Southern Wells will do. They'll run the ball to manage the clock. Adams Central won't have the ball very much on offense because Southern Wells will run so well, and it'll just be a tough night for the Adams Central Flying Jets.
Yeah, and it's getting to that point where teams are now starting to look towards sectionals and the postseason play. And right now, Southern Wells, although maybe they are out of the conference race, they're looking toward the bigger picture.
Well, they're in a much bigger conference. They're in there with a bunch of 2A, 3A schools, and so they're not overly concerned with, I mean, I'm sure they want to compete in the conference, but that's not the deciding factor of whether they have a successful year or not. In fact, playing the Garretts and Leos and Heritages of the world will help them when they get into tournament play and they play schools their size. So Southern Wells will be a force into November.
All right, well, that's a sneak peek at Week 7 of the high school football season. We'll, of course, have full coverage of the Friday night highlight zone, and it'll be covered Saturday morning in the News-Sentinel. But until then, he's Tom Davis. I'm Ross Kinsey. Thanks for watching.